Peace and blessings, everybody. It's Anna Renee here, and I am your love power goddess, sacred word priestess, and doula of divine transformation. And I have decided to go straight ahead into this particular book, A Spiritual Approach to Astrology by Miss Myrna Loftus, or Loftus, or however you pronounce that. And I've already done Sagittarius, and I'm going to skip from Sagittarius, and I started with Sag, the number 9 planet or the number 9 sign. And I'm going to skip from Sagittarius to Pisces, okay? So right now, but I'm going to do all the rest. At least I hope that I will. I'm going to predict that I will read this entire book pretty much. And so let's get started. Pisces is the 12th sign of the zodiac. Its glyph look like that. If I can show it in the book, if it will actually show. You can barely see it. You can barely see it. Its glyph looks like this. Okay, we all know what it looks like. Its glyph symbolizes two fish joined together by a cord. The picture used to describe the sign is the fishes. Why? One fish represents the personality and the other fish represents the soul. Although they are linked together by a cord, each fish is attempting to swim in the opposite direction. One of the fish must become the master in order to swim the waters of life. The sun is in this sign from approximately February 21st to March 20th. The planetary ruler is Neptune and also Jupiter if you look at the old school books, okay? According to people like Reuben Shamrani, who wrote the book Ancient Astrological Secrets of the Jews Reveal. That is also the planetary ruler, okay? Jupiter. All right, so, but here's the planetary ruler is Neptune. In the natural zodiac, it rules the 12th house. It is feminine, negative, receptive, which is what negative means. It's receptive and a water sign. The element water can be described as feelings, emotional, responsive. Its quality is mutable, meaning adaptable and flexible. This can be combined to describe Pisces as adaptable feelings. The parts of the body that are ruled by this sign are feet. Did I just say feet? Feet, toes, lymph glands, sweat glands, and mucus secretions. All right. Some of the things that Pisces rules are anesthetics, drugs, hospitals, clouds, metaphysical world, and institutions. I'm drinking some tea right now. It is now 6:30 in the evening. So, 5 positive keywords are number 1, sympathetic, number 2, compassionate, 3, unassuming, 4, imaginative, and 5, self-sacrificing. 5 negative keywords are 1, impressionable, 2, indecisive, 3, self-pity, 4, hypersensitive, and 5, changeable. Pisces people are found in many different occupations, but most of them would enjoy work connected with animals, films, footwear, the sea, and materials. Some of the careers are musicians, doctors, actors, artists, poets, nurses, prison attendants, asylum attendants, psychiatrists, social workers, and teachers. The key phrase is, I believe. The key word is unity. Their basic nature is the mystic or the martyr. The opposite sign of the zodiac is Virgo. The opposite sign of the zodiac is Virgo. I'm struggling to keep my throat together here. Weather's been wild and crazy in the Bay Area. The symbol for Pisces, and you know what? We're in the Pisces season. Maybe that's why I'm skipping around as I read this. This is the Pisces season right now. The symbol for Pisces gives a clue as to the reason for their emotional behavior. This symbol is of two fish joined together by a cord. Each fish is trying to swim in the opposite direction. Two fish, one swimming upstream, one swimming down, living in a dream. Okay. These opposing forces operate within a Piscean, causing insecurity and indecisiveness. It is extremely difficult for them to handle these forces constructively. And I wanted to interject this, which is what I did when I was reading Ruben Shamrani's book. When these guys talk about the different signs and, you know, all the breakdown of the personality, yeah, when you're thinking about Pisces and only Pisces, well, then, yeah, indecision and indecisiveness and insecurity. Okay, yes, maybe, maybe not. But remember, there is not one human being on this planet Earth that is only just a Pisces. Nobody is only just any one planet or any one sign. There is the wheel of life. And we are really all the signs. We're everything. The Pisces is also an Aries. Okay, all the way around to Capricorn and Aquarius. We're all everything. So, if this is part of it, insecurity and indecisiveness, then it's only 1/12 a part of any one person who happens to be a Pisces in the sun position. Because some people are Pisces in the moon position. Shoot, I'm a Pisces in the fifth house, which I found out that my North Node is in Virgo, if I'm correct, which would then make my, let's see, North Node in Virgo, is that correct? I don't think that information is on this. I need to do a much better chart for myself, but I think I remember reading that somewhere. Oh yeah, I looked at when you go on to the site online, it showed North Node in Virgo, which would then mean my South Node is in Pisces, and the South Node is South Node is kind of you know, that's the idea. I don't know. I don't know exactly what the South Node is anymore. I'm diving back into astrology, and the reason why I'm even reading this book is so that I can refer to it again and again. Because what I've learned about myself is that it's hard for things to land. I'm made out of Teflon. And I don't get the fullness of it unless it's repeated. And I know I'm not going to sit here and read the book again and read it again, because when you're reading books like this, there's a huge amount of information in it, and you don't be catching every single thing. But when you go back and listen to it as a YouTube video, right, then you'll hear things that you missed the first time. All right. So anyway, with all that being said, I could just look it up online, huh? And that's pretty much what I'd be doing. But then you're only getting one portion. The South Node in Pisces In astrology, a south node in Pisces suggests a tendency to overemphasize intuition, spirituality, and escapism, potentially leading to challenges in grounding oneself and facing practical realities. The South Node represents karmic patterns from past lives, and a South Node in Pisces suggests a strong connection to the subconscious, emotions, and spiritual realms in past lives. Okay. See, even with reading that, that's a very small portion. You got really, in order to really read, and I've gone off on this long tangent, in order to really read astrology correctly, you got to just read the entirety of it. Okay. You have to just really look at everything in balance to each other. Okay. Some energies are supposedly stronger than others. So the sun energy is stronger than the Mercury Pluto energy. So if you have a sun in Pisces, it's going to be stronger than if you have Pluto in Pisces or something like that. You know? And all these kinds of things coming together to create the whole of who it is you are. So that that is the part that we really look at. So anyway, now let me get back on track. Let me start over. These opposing forces, the two fish swimming in opposite directions, supposedly trying to, these forces operate within a Piscean, causing insecurity and indecisiveness. It is extremely difficult for them to handle these forces constructively. Some will seek to escape these pressures through eating, alcohol, drugs, and other excesses. How is eating an excess? We all need to eat. That's the way I see that. However, the two fish are also indications of the two ways open for them. The higher aspect would see them rising to great heights of self-denial and attainment. Basically, they are creative, self-sufficient people. They have, well, let me go back. All right. That last sentence said the higher aspect would see them rising to great heights of self-denial and attainment. Why is that considered the higher heights? Self-denial. Self-denial is not always a good thing. Okay. Anyhow, I'm not going to go no further on that. Basically, they are creative, self-sufficient people. They have a natural ability for understanding complex material, but this is accomplished by absorbing the knowledge rather than studying it. Their minds are extremely active due to their strong imagination. They sense and feel things that others are not aware of. This could be the general atmosphere in a group or someone to whom they are talking. This trait makes it very difficult for people to lie to them, okay? For they intuitively know when they are being deceived. Pisceans are congenial, adaptable, and versatile people, but they do not have strong willpowers or a dynamic approach to life. They can appear to be very determined on the outside, but underneath, inner doubts are seething. This insecurity causes them to seek reassurance from others. See, now when I think of somebody like Erykah Badu, she does not come across as being this person that needs others, she did say, but when we love, we tend to cling. She did say that. You said it, Erica. So maybe it's true. Let me just read it. Pisceans are congenial, adaptable, and versatile people, but they do not have strong willpowers or a dynamic approach to life. They can appear to be very determined on the outside, but underneath, inner doubts are seething. This insecurity causes them to seek reassurance from others. Their greatest need is to learn to understand their emotional ups and downs. It is important for them to try to bring these emotions under control, not for they not only make the Piscean unhappy, but they make those close to them unhappy also. The Neptunian side of Pisces has a way of deceiving others into believing that Pisceans are placid. But like the other water signs, Cancer and Scorpio, they could stir up a hurricane if anything or anyone makes them deeply unhappy. Or they could resort to silence. Sometimes a Piscean is silent for other vague reasons. If asked what the problem is, they usually respond that nothing is the matter. This is undoubtedly true in most cases, since a Piscean is never very sure as to what is disturbing them. Pisceans are called mystics, as opposed to Aquarians, who are usually labeled occultists. Neptune gives the Piscean an elusive quality which is not easily explained. Once Pisceans learn how to use their prophetic gifts and to listen to their strong inner intuition, they will benefit immeasurably. But since they have a tendency to doubt their own conclusions, they need to learn to believe in themselves. However, these gifts must be used for the benefit of others and not for self gain. That sentence right there. So, why can't the Piscean use their own talents to their own self gain? Why don't they get to have anything from their own talents? They are generous with their time in helping other people, but unless they are evolved, they will expect something in return. What's wrong with expecting something? I don't know. I'm true. Let me shut up. They always feel their best when they are serving others in some capacity. By using their compassion outwardly for others, they will not become moody and introverted. Pisces are sensitive, sympathetic, usually gentle, with an inborn reluctance to hurt others or to face any sort of confrontations. Because of this, they can become involved in very difficult emotional situations, which they find extremely difficult to break. They intuitively know they are being used, but seem unable to get themselves out of their predicament. This difficulty stems from the fact that Pisceans think with their hearts rather than their head, so are easily used by others. They are very sympathetic toward the helpless or downtrodden. They are inclined to adopt the waifs and strays of life, people and animals, on whom they lavish tender, loving care. They do not feel completely fulfilled unless they are involved in helping their fellow man. While their sensitivity often results in fluctuating emotional moods, Pisceans are very capable of being the life of the party with their gaiety and wit. But they can also be standoffish at a party by withdrawing mentally is what it says. Trying to get these glasses on my over my ear properly. It's hurting my ear. Let me do this. That's better. Pisceans are highly secretive, but this can be very appealing to others as they attempt different methods in order to discover what the Piscean is really thinking. Since Pisceans know how to keep secrets, most people feel they can confide their troubles to them. Even if the Piscean is unable to help them, the person involved usually feels better for having aired the difficulty. They make friends easily and are quite loyal to them. They do not particularly like verbal or combative fights, but will defend their friends in subtle ways. Because Pisceans are sentimental, you will find your Piscean friend remembering your birthday and anniversary when others have forgotten. They lack vitality unless other factors in the natal chart mitigate this. Thus, they need sufficient time each day to be alone while they build back their fluctuating energies. Otherwise, they will become sluggish and sometimes lazy. The parts of the body that may need attention are the feet, toes, mucous membranes, the arms, hands, lungs, intestines, nerves, and hips. Pisceans have good clothes sense and usually like their homes to be neat and clean. They have a strong need for a congenial, happy home life in order to lessen their emotional ups and downs. These emotional ups and downs are very confusing and tormenting to the Piscean. It takes tremendous willpower and concentration on their part to conquer these fluctuating emotional levels. Their inborn desire to escape from physical living can be used constructively through creativity. All forms of art appeal to them: music, poetry, acting, dancing, reading, theater, etc. They instinctively know their own capabilities and their limitations. Unfortunately, their knowledge of their limitations is what has created their inferiority complex. You find many Pisceans who enjoy acting because it gives them the opportunity of being someone else. This enables them to temporarily lose their inferiority complex. Because of their hypersensitivity, they can become instantly depressed over little things that are said to them. If they feel they are being criticized, they suffer extreme embarrassment. If the criticism becomes too severe, they will panic, causing them to either flee or to become hysterical. They can appear to be deceitful because of their inborn need to justify their words and actions. If in trouble, they may attempt to rationalize their way out rather than face the consequences of their behavior. In love, they are very sentimental and romantic. They like to receive unexpected presents from their loved ones, as well as giving unexpected gifts. They are usually faithful and loyal with a strong tendency to place their loved ones on a pedestal. This leads to disillusionment when they discover their loved one has faults too. As parents, Piscean parents will expose their children to cultural and art forms at an early age. They make warm, loving parents, but find it difficult to discipline their children. It is most unusual for Piscean parents to physically hit their children. They may occasionally snap at them, but will soon explain to the child that they were in a bad mood. These parents must be made to realize that their over permissiveness will, in the long run, be detrimental to the child. By understanding this, they can correct this problem and be of considerable benefit to their children during their formative years. Children. The Piscean children need a lot of attention and security because of their troubled emotions. They are usually good students at school, although they dislike learning facts, except in history. They prefer subjects which stimulates their imagination. They are not particularly fond of active sports. Their natural inclination is toward music, painting, dancing, skating, etc. If they are constantly changing their minds about their goals, they should be assisted by their parents in learning the necessity of completing projects once they have started. Above all, give them a lot of encouragement and praise for their efforts. Wherever Pisces is in the natal chart is where you have to use your intuition toward the house affairs. You will need to believe in your hunches and intuitive insights because there will be no guidelines to help you. Everything will appear to be confusing or misleading. This house, then, is where you must have faith in the future and in yourself. The gems for Pisces are the aquamarine and the bloodstone. Both stones represent courage. The aquamarine protects the wearer from the hazards of the sea and helps sharpen the intellect. The bloodstone gives courage and wisdom. The bloodstone is a dark green variety of quartz, which is spotted with red inclusions of jasper. Men particularly like this gem. Let me see. Bloodstone. That used to be a soul band from back in the 70s. And they sang a song called Take to the Sky on a Natural High, loving you more to the day I die. Take to the sky on a natural high. Okay, let's see. What is a bloodstone? It's very interesting looking. Let's see if I can get a good big picture of it. Oh, okay. That's a nice looking picture. But I saw a ring. With a stone in it. Or whatever it is. Maybe it's a necklace. It's a dark grayish green, but then it has that red in it. And little skull. There's one that they're calling African bloodstone is more red. Very fabulous kind of stuff. Oh, here. Oh, this is a dragon bloodstone. Raw. God, look at it. It's kind of fabulous. Oh, here go the. Oh, these are African ones. Let's see. Bloodstone. I wouldn't mind going back to collecting stones once again. Oh, look at this. That's bloodstone. This right here is moonstone. Moonstone. Well, that's interesting. Look at that. The moonstone. See if I can get it. It's not showing that well. It's just very pretty looking. Moonstone. Okay. All right. Let me get back. Let me get back. Okay. The flowers for Pisceans are the violets, orchids, mignonettes, never heard of it, water lilies, and irises. Their colors are sea green, silver, violet, and purple. Their metal is tin. I learned that, well, I think I knew this already, but uh, sometimes these signs be having the same metals. Like Sagittarius metal is tin too. I think I read that in this book. Yep. The Sagittarius flowers are narcissus And goldenrod, their colors are deep blue, sea green, turquoise, and purple. It's saying the same thing for the and their metal is tin. All right. When you pay attention to it like this, then you start picking up on the similarities, which makes it easier to read. You have to sort of pay attention to the entirety of the whole thing so that you can pick up on these similarities in addition to the differences. You'll be a much better reader when you are doing your astrology readings. All right, Neptune. This planet rules the sign Pisces, but also Jupiter does, okay? Its natural house is the 12th house. Its orbit takes 165 years. One complete revolution on its axis takes 15 hours, 48 minutes. So Neptune, a day in Neptune is only 15 hours long. On Earth is 24 hours or something to that effect. I think that's how you read that. I think that's how you look at it. Yeah. I read that Jupiter is only 9 hours. Is what do you call it? Revolution, yes. Not a rotation, a revolution. Revolution for Jupiter is only 9 hours. It's wild stuff. It's fast. Okay. Okay, this planet rules the sign Pisces. Its natural house is the 12th house. Its orbit takes 165 years. One complete revolution on its axis takes 15 hours, 48 minutes. It is a feminine and negative receptive sign. It has the glyph that looks like that, It's a line like this and then a loop like that and a cross at the bottom. I can't show it. Will it show? Especially since whoever published this book drew it in. There it is. It's showing. Look under where it says Neptune. You see the little sign that they drew. We all know. Next time I do this, I have to have a book that shows more better. Or maybe I should have wrote it down on a piece of paper. Anyway, the glyph symbolizes matter piercing the personality in order to set it free from selfish pursuits. 5 positive key words describing this planet are 1, dissolver, 2, visionary, 3, spiritual wisdom, 4, responsiveness, and 5, creativeness. 5 basic keywords describing this planet are spiritual wisdom, inspiration, compassion, sacrifice, and universal love. 5 negative keywords describing this planet are chaos, confusion, delusion, fear, and escapism. The basic personality function of this planet is the slow dissolving of old life patterns to bring a new and better pattern. The parts of the body it rules are feet, toes, malformations, leakage, toxic conditions, and infectious organisms. Should I just take these glasses off? God. Oh my God. Will I be able to read this? Can I see this? Not really. I can't see it. I need glasses. The sun is setting. It's 12. It's 12. Why did I say 12? It's 7. Words just be coming out on their own. Sometimes that's how that works. Okay. Some of the things ruled by this planet are secret affairs, divers, submarines, drugs, fraud, liquor, spiritualism, psychic research, fog, mist. The people represented by this planet are the masses. Okay, now I'm just going to read through this real fast because I got to get through like 15 pages here. I'm on page 176. I got to get all the way through to 190. Yes, so there's 14 pages. So watch me read, okay? I'm going to try to do this without stuttering too much. The similarity between this planet and the sign it rules is that both have subtle strength, are elusive, appear mysterious, and are little understood. Okay. They differ because we're talking about Neptune on the one hand and Pisces on the other. I like the way that she does this. They differ because Pisceans are attempting to establish firm emotional foundations built on faith in the unknown, while Neptune's aim is to dissolve life patterns in order to try to bring about a new and better life. Neptune retrograde. Neptune retrograde causes a desire to unveil mysteries and or to expose religious shams. There is an intuitive awareness of the subconscious mind, but difficulty in tuning in to it consciously. Hmm. In Greek mythology, Poseidon was the brother of Zeus and Pluto. Poseidon received the sea as his realm. His wife, Amphitrite, gave birth to a son called Triton. However, Poseidon was known to have had many love affairs and was the father of several children who were famed for their wildness and cruelty. The Romans called Poseidon Neptune. He was worshipped as the god of navigation, and temples were erected to him on headlands. Both the Romans and Greeks felt this god controlled the seas and, when angry, would cause storms and shipwrecks. Today, the planet Neptune is known to cause confusion in man, chaos of his emotions, and self deception. It is regarded as nebulous or vague, and true to this quality was not immediately discovered. It was indirectly sensed because of the gravitational pull it exerted on Uranus, occasionally dragging Uranus out of his regular orbit. This irregularity was observed 54 years after Uranus was discovered. In 1834, an amateur astronomer, the Reverend T.J. Hussey, suggested that the erratic motion of Uranus might be caused by the pull of an unknown planet. His theory was investigated by J.C. Adams in England and Urbain Le Verrier in France. Eventually, Leverrier's calculations were taken up by the Berlin Observatory, and Neptune was finally located in 1846 when it was in a retrograde motion. Neptune is similar in size to Uranus with a diameter of approximately 27,700 miles. Neptune's vast size and its remoteness corresponds well to its astrological vibrations of elusiveness and mystery. Pisceans, too, are said to be elusive and mysterious. This is the part I like when she be doing this. She make these very interesting comparisons. She's kind of on the money with it. It is a beautiful bluish green sphere. The color bluish green is the main healing color. It is also the color vibration for helplessness, no, helpfulness, okay, and reliability. In photographs, it sparkles like a four-pointed star. Hmm. Neptune is a very Neptune, I must be tired. That's what it is. It is after 7, and I've been up for hours since before 7. I've been up since 5 or 4. Let me try to read through this, okay? I'm bringing the heat and the power, okay? Because I'm going to get this done tonight before the sun totally sets and I'm sitting in front of darkness, okay? Neptune is nearly 2 million, or is that 2,800,000,000 miles from the sun and requires 165 years to orbit it. At this distance from the sun, Neptune receives only 1/900th of the light and heat received by us on Earth. Thus, its surface temperature never rises above negative 330 degrees Fahrenheit. Its axis rotation is 15 hours and 48 minutes, making it a slightly longer axis rotation period than Jupiter, Saturn, and Uranus. Perhaps this accounts for the difficulty Pisceans have in arriving anywhere on time. That's a stretch, girl, okay? Neptune's atmosphere is composed of mostly methane with some hydrogen and probably a large amount of water. These elements suggest an elusive but subtle strength. Pisceans may seem elusive, but they too have a subtle strength, which is not apparent at first. Its density of 2.2, water is 1, is greater than Jupiter or Saturn, which seems to confirm the theory that Neptune has large quantities of water. Although it can be, although it cannot be stated for certainty, it is suspected that Neptune, like Uranus, has faint atmospheric bands. Scientists believe Neptune contains a rocky core of approximately 12,000 miles, an ice layer of 6,000 miles, and a 2,000-mile gas layer covered by clouds. Neptune has two satellites. Triton, with a diameter of 3,000 miles, is larger than our moon. It rotates backwards in a circular orbit around Neptune. Nereid, which is smaller, was discovered in 1949. The orbit of Nereid is, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, it's spelled Nereid. Nereid is extremely eccentric. Triton orbits very closely to Neptune, which has caused scientists to believe that in 10 to 100 million years, it may be pulled into Neptune's atmosphere. Number 2 means peacemaker. The traits of number 2 are tact, diplomacy, cooperation, persuasion, consideration, sensitivity, modesty, shyness, sincerity, and vague feelings. These traits can be applied to both Neptune and Pisceans. Neptune seems to be a planet that is little understood. Many people use the word nebulous to describe it. Basically, nebulous means vague. Pisceans, too, are very seldom understood and are prone to vague feelings of unrest and turmoil. Neptune's area of influence seems to be more in the psychic realm than in the physical or material realms. It is mystic, working through feelings and imagination. It represents inspiration and feelings from deep within the unconscious mind. That is why it rules the next dimension, which we know of as the astral plane. Many Pisceans astral travel in a semi conscious state without being aware of it. Because it is mystic, Neptune finds it difficult to be earthbound. If you use Neptune wisely, it can help you reach your highest consciousness. But if you do not, it will plunge you to your lowest depths. It is not easy to respond fully to the higher vibrations of Neptune. But as we head toward the Aquarian age, more and more teachers are coming forth to help humanity respond to these higher vibrations. It must be realized that just because Pisceans are ruled by Neptune, they cannot automatically respond to Neptune's higher vibrations. They too must be taught. All right. For all of us, Neptune's task is to dissolve self interest in our search for universal wisdom. The effect of Neptune's vibrations are always internal. They work beneath the surface and are unseen. This is similar to the perils of an iceberg, which is hidden beneath the surface. You will experience chaos and confusion only if you attempt to resist the events being brought to the surface by Neptune. Resistance is what causes pain and suffering. Flow with the experiences. The word dissolver is a good descriptive word to apply to Neptune because it slowly dissolves patterns from former lives. Wherever Neptune falls in your natal chart is where you experience difficulties and can be deluded. At the same time, there is also a deep sense of obligation to the affairs of that house. You may feel internal pressure to plunge into the house affairs. Neptune teaches some unusual lessons in relationship to the house it is in. Self-interest must be replaced with humanitarian interest. This is the area where you have taken and must now replace. You can expect to have problems that are unseen by others. But if you use Neptune's positive traits in the house affairs, you will receive unusual blessings. If Neptune is an angular house, first, fourth, seventh, or 10th, is in. If Neptune is an angular house, you will have to actively use Neptune's positive traits. If it is in a succeedant, okay, yeah. So that was a mistyping right there. If Neptune is in an angular house, being the first, the fourth, the seventh, or the 10th, you will have to actively use Neptune's positive traits. Actively. Okay. If it is in a succeedant house, second, fifth, eighth, or 11th, you will have to express Neptune's positive traits through your emotions. And if it is in a cadent house, third, sixth, ninth, or 12th, you will have to readjust your mind to accept Neptune's positive traits. I like that. That down how you would use it, okay? Depending on where it is in your chart and what house it's in. Thus, we find that Neptune must dissolve our clarity of thinking in order to dissolve egotism and outdated life patterns so that you are forced to search within for the truth as to the meaning of the universe. Whew, that was deep. That was deep, honey. Neptune in the signs, okay? Neptune in Aries from 1861 to 1874. And that's how long Neptune was in Aries, okay? And that's how it goes, okay? 14 years, 13, 12, 13, 14 years, like that. And in that time, strong self-awareness and ideals. These individuals felt they had a mission. They were inspired, sometimes with radical ideas. They also had the ability to promote their ideas. Some were fanatics or schemers who used subversive methods to obtain their goals. Certainly, serenity and complacency were not part of their lives. Examples are Evangeline Adams, Henry Ford, Richard Strauss. Okay, those are people of that era, 1861 to 1874. That's the time of the Civil War. Neptune in, that's interesting, Neptune was in Aries during the time of the Civil War. Neptune in Taurus, 1874 to 1887. Artistically inspired with a love of beauty and music. Had good business abilities with a desire for material comforts. They had discipline of thought, which insisted upon concrete proofs and statistical evidence. Psychic phenomena was either accepted or rejected after careful and practical consideration. These individuals had the capacity to heal others through the use of their minds. Examples: Edgar Cayce, Dr. Carl Jung, and Carl Sandburg. Neptune in Gemini, 1887 to 1901. Quick perception with a desire for variety, are extremely intuitive and sensitive. There is a restlessness within which causes difficulties in concentrating at times. Ability to write poetry, can communicate telepathically. They have a gift of subtle persuasion, could be influenced or misled by others, tendency to worry and or be narrow-minded. Many of these individuals had to sacrifice education in order to help their parents financially. Examples are Charlie Chaplin, Adolf Hitler, and Ernest Hemingway. Okay, they didn't get to go to school. Mm-hmm. All right, Neptune in Cancer, and that was Neptune in Gemini. Neptune in Cancer is from 1901 to 1915. Instinctual action are intuitive and psychic, a desire for social acceptance. These individuals are very susceptible to emotional appeals with a tendency to become over emotional and or too negative. There also could be an inclination for self-indulgence through food, alcohol, drugs, or sex because of their inability to face the world as it is. They have strong feelings toward home and family, particularly to their mother. If Neptune is heavily afflicted, the individual will have experienced upsetting karmic conditions through the home and the mother. This placement gives these individuals the ability to look back into their subconscious minds and bring forth the wisdom stored there from previous incarnations. By using Neptune's vibrations correctly, they will show true compassion and a willingness to serve others without thought of self. Examples: Bob Hope, Dag Hammarskjöld, I don't know how to pronounce that, and Jonas Salk. That was Neptune in Cancer from 1901 to 1915. Okay. A lot going on outside. All right, Neptune in Leo, 1915 to 1929. Creative inspiration. Warm-hearted individuals. They have the ability to lead and inspire others. They are easily susceptible to flattery, which could cause them to become conceited and egotistical. There is a love of physical pleasures of all kinds, such as socializing, traveling, eating, drinking, sex, etc. A strong desire to escape into a make believe world. Thus, entertainment of all types appeals: movies, theater, TV, etc. This placement indicates a need for dissolving self interest into universal interest. Examples: Shirley Temple, Margot Fontaine, I don't know how to pronounce that, Judy Garland, Billy Graham, Martin Luther King. That is Neptune in Leo. Neptune in Virgo, 1929 to 1943. Practical intelligence. They have the ability to absorb and teach, are scientifically oriented, which could cause them to be skeptical of psychic matters. They could also be critical or fault finding of others, interested in social conditions, of being of service to others, and of healing through natural methods, such as herbs and mental healing. These individuals have the ability to heal psychically. This placement places great strain and tension between intuitive feelings and scientific reasoning. Many who are unable to blend these suffer greatly from nervous tension due to their inability to face the world as it is. That keeps coming up, being able to face the world as it is, no matter what sign Neptune is in. Okay. The answer lies in giving themselves in service to others in some form, or they will fall victim to psychosomatic illnesses. And they don't have a list of names at this point. That was Neptune in Virgo, 1929 and 1943. Okay, Neptune in Libra, 1943 to 1957. Humanitarian impulses, artistic abilities in some form, desire for harmony, peace, and justice. These individuals are easily deceived by others. Their lesson concerns cooperative relationships. There is a need for them to learn to compromise and to sacrifice, if necessary, in order to bring about an interchange of attitude. They have difficulty in maintaining mental stability when being deluged with external pressures. They must gain a sense of identity so that they can relate harmoniously to the world around them. Thus, the rational mind is replaced by the intuitive mind. Now, Neptune and Scorpio. Ooh. I was born during Neptune and Scorpio. All right. That should be on my chart. I think it is. 1957 through 1970, emotional intensity, which stimulates the desire to investigate, but also creates inner reserve and secretiveness, are intuitive and interest in the metaphysical world, extremely sensitive, but this sensitivity can be used in understanding the emotions of those around them. There can be a desire for physical pleasures of all kinds, such as socializing, traveling, eating, drinking, drugs, sex, etc., which are used to escape the pressures of earthly living. Others will escape through long hours of daily meditation practices. Because of the intensity of the Scorpio sign, Neptune here indicates these individuals must choose either the high road or the low road, for there is no in between. There are many who will choose the high road and will use their gifts in helping humanity. Others will choose the low road and will be unreliable, unstable, and totally irresponsible with their lives revolving around obtaining as much physical pleasure as possible. If they constantly pursue this low road, it will eventually lead them to self destruction. But they have chosen the low road, so they'll be destroyed. They will, and it's like it's some kind of karma, and it's going to happen. I don't know if that's true. Anyway, Neptune and Sagittarius, 1970 to 1985. Philosophical. prophetic, and restless. These individuals will have a strong love of freedom and an optimism in the future. They could be extremely far-sighted with an ability to develop clairvoyance. Many of these souls will seek to dissolve dogmatic concepts of religion and morality. Others will be troubled with disturbing dreams and visions and will need special help in dissolving these ghosts that haunt them from past lives. Oh, goodness gracious. When was that movie Ghostbusters made? Was it made in Neptune in Sagittarius time, which was from 1970 to 1985? The movie Ghostbusters, 1984. I had a feeling. So that movie was created in the time of Neptune in Sagittarius. Okay. Neptune in Capricorn, 1985 to 2000, baby. Ambitious and contemplative. I would say that people did become really ambitious during that time anyway, up to the year 2000. Anyway, let's read it. Ambitious and contemplative with good business ability, strong intuition, which will be used on practical affairs. Many evolved souls will elect to come at this time to serve humanity as educators, leaders, and spiritual teachers. They will seek to establish a perfect world. That's Neptune in Capricorn, 1985 to 2000. Neptune in Aquarius, 2000 to 2015. Inspirational, strong humanitarian ideals, kindly, gentle individuals who will seek to blend philosophical, political, and social ideals into one doctrine. They will bring with them new knowledge concerning the healing of the mental body through breathing. Okay, this is what she's writing for 2000 through 2015, but this book was created in 1985, so she's predicting here. Well, she's just going by astrology. 1983 is when this book was made, published. So she was in the Neptune in Sagittarius era. But she said, okay, Neptune in Aquarius, 2000 to 2015. Inspirational, strong humanitarian ideals, kindly, gentle individuals who will seek to blend philosophical, political, and social ideas into one doctrine. They will bring with them new knowledge concerning the healing of the mental body through breathing. That's what she wrote back in 1985. Through breathing. It's interesting that she wrote that. I think that pretty much came through. A lot of that stuff came to be true. Breathing. We all were talking about breathing properly. We were. Meditating is what we were calling it. Okay. All right. So Neptune in Pisces, 2015 to 2030. Okay. Inspirational, mystical, with the desire to be in an expanded state of consciousness, capable of attaining harmony between the physical and the spiritual world. They will have a complete unification of the five bodies: physical, etheric, conscious, subconscious, and superconscious, is what they called it back then. These souls will help teach the complete unity and development of the luminous body consciousness in a physical world, so that humanity will be in a permanent state of clarity and bliss. That's what we're talking about right now. Everybody talking about this new world. Nope. The new earth, you know. There's a whole lot of mystics and inspirational kind of thing. And we do be talking about the different subtle bodies at this point in time, right? Really since 2015, to be honest. People were talking about it even before that. They will have a complete unification of the five bodies: physical, etheric, conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. These souls will help teach the complete unity and development of the luminous body consciousness in a physical world, so that humanity will be in a permanent state of clarity and bliss. A permanent state. That's as far as she went. She didn't go no further than that. Where did she start? Oh, she did. She started in Aries. Okay. So this is 2025. We have 5 more years for Neptune to be in Pisces. In 2030 is going to move back into Aries once again. That's pretty deep. So that means that, well, it depends on, if you're looking at it just basically, then yeah, it's gone through its entire circuit. That's deep. That's pretty deep. Okay, so Neptune in the houses. Let's keep it going. 1 hour and 6 minutes so far. I'm almost done. Neptune in the first house. Visionary, artistic, and hypersensitive. That's always right there. The hypersensitivity is always there. Can become moody, frustrated, or unstable. They can lose themselves in a world of imagination. Strong desire to escape from the pressures of everyday living. Psychic sensitivity, which could bring confusion until the individual seeks spiritual evolvement. Discontent with life emotionally will cause a depleting of energies from the physical body. Medical knowledge will not be able to help these individuals if this occurs, because healing can only take place if they change their inner attitudes. Okay. This placement can be used constructively because of the strong psychic sensitivity, which would make them a healing agent for others. Okay, let me do something. I need to close this one. This is just open. Let's close it. There we go. The sun has set. It is now 7:36. Okay. Okay, Neptune in the second house. That was the first house. In the second house, strong imagination and psychic sensitivity, which can be used to tap inner talents. Receive intuitive hunches, apt to have vivid dreams, and appreciation of beautiful objects. They seldom worry about money, which is just as well, since their finances are complicated and apt to be confusing at times. This placement can make the individual extremely generous or extremely dishonest. If dishonesty is present, they will experience losses through theft, fraud, and deception. Neptune in the third house, intuitive, idealistic, artistic, with flashes of inspiration. Their extrasensory perception gives them clairvoyance, which can be developed to its fullest capacity if so desired. They find difficulty in concentrating on academic work, but if they have self-discipline, they can do extremely well in school. That's in the third house. Okay. There are karmic obligations with relatives that need to be reconciled. Feelings of insecurity in early life, which causes them to suffer nervous disorders. This will dissolve when they understand their need to reorient their thinking with regard to their relatives. So they need to reorient their thinking concerning their relatives. They could be unreliable or negative. Unless their strong psychic gifts are channeled correctly, they can become prey to obsessions and hallucinations. That's Neptune in the third house. Neptune in the fourth house. Sense of inner uncertainty, fears, and anxieties. There is a tendency to idealize the home environment or to imagine it as they would like it to be. Could be an adopted child. There is a spiritual tie with the parents, which has been reestablished so that it can be completed in proper perspective. Tendency to want to withdraw from life due to feelings that an ideal home is not possible. Therefore, they could become recluses, seek spiritual institutions or communes where they would not be obliged to live a family life. This placement is challenging them to establish inner security based on reality and not on imagination. Thus, they will have to dissolve former past life attitudes about perfect home environments. That fourth house is a trip right there. Neptune in the fifth house. Artistic, strong imagination, enjoyment of the entertainment industry. Could become an entertainer. This placement can bring chaotic love affairs due to over idealizing their loved ones and or because of the need to dissolve former lifetime relationships. The frustration they experience in these love affairs may drive them to illicit and secretive sexual adventures. Their children will be unusual, sometimes with health problems, which force the parent to give the child individual care. Their concern for their child will dissolve their own desires for personal pleasures by being of willing service to another. Thus, past lifetimes, selfishness is mitigated. So, what I'm seeing here with this Neptune, the movement of Neptune, is always talking about challenges, emotional challenges, and needing to heal those by being of service to the world some kind of way. It's like if you don't serve the higher universe, the world, then your mind might go bonkers on you. Your emotions might get whacked out. That's what I'm seeing with this. Because it's Neptune, and that's what Neptune is about, right? All right. Neptune in the sixth house, inspirational mind. Okay. Humanitarian ideals. You got to be a humanitarian. This placement weakens the energy field, causing difficulty in concentrating on the organizing of details or in getting started with their work. In their work, they will encounter people who are two faced, causing them pain and suffering, extremely sensitive, which opens them to unusual health difficulties. Are psychic sponges absorbing the atmosphere around them. Respond best to herbal methods of healing and to the transformation of their thoughts. It's always all you gotta do is change your thoughts, change your life. That's what it is. You gotta change those thoughts. You must choose proper thoughts so that your new choice of thoughts heal your body if that's what you need, or maintain you physically and mentally. These individuals will make great sacrifices for their ideals. Neptune in the seventh house, a quest for a soulmate is denied in this life due to the need for tolerance and compassion in cooperative relationships. The marriage will require the individual to make sacrifices for the marriage partner. The marriage partner can be spiritually minded or artistic, but communication is a problem due to their concepts and ideals not coinciding. Thus, the individual with Neptune placed here must learn to be tolerant of other people's right to their views. They will also experience treachery and plotting from former lifetime enemies, which could lead to court trials and which are a source of much suffering and sorrow to the individual. These individuals must learn to forgive and forget, for they will be required to give much with very little given in return. Neptune in the seventh house. Really? Is that what? Okay. Neptune in the eighth house, psychic and intuitive with dreams and visions which are precognitive. There is extreme sensitivity to the feelings of others. If this individual is not honest, he will suffer financial reverses in order to prove the futility of seeking happiness through material possessions. Extremely easy for these individuals to astral travel while semi-conscious. This should be utilized only for constructive reasons. That's just meditation, right? Meditation. Well, astral travel. Okay. Neptune here calls for the individual to channel his psychic abilities into creative endeavors to assist humanity. Neptune in the ninth house, idealistic, intuitive, and mystical, will seek some type of philosophy of life based on the knowledge of life after death. These individuals could become religious fanatics. There can be a tendency to be either extravagant or to exaggerate. This placement has a tendency to cloud good judgment. Should think things through before proceeding. In their travels, they prefer to wander around on their own without too much planning. There can be difficulties with in laws due to lack of compassion and understanding. Neptune placed here can assist these individuals through many difficulties and troubles if they use its higher vibrational influence of spiritual wisdom and understanding. Neptune in the 10th house. We're getting there, we're getting there, we're getting there. Strong idealism. Neptune can be used constructively in work that is inspirational, artistic, or psychic. That's the 10th house. It is also a good placement for any type of humanitarian work. This person's public image will suffer ups and downs by forces beyond their control. This is a karmic debt, indicating they have been instrumental in causing others to lose public esteem through false innuendos. There is also a karmic debt relationship with the father, which must be resolved. These individuals will feel as if they have been rejected by their father and by others. This could lead to either resentment and dissatisfaction with life or depression and self doubts. These difficulties must be purified through forgiveness. Neptune will assist these individuals to transcend these difficulties if they will allow its higher vibrational influence to dissolve these past lifetime debts through spiritual wisdom and understanding. You know, I want to just mention this real quick right here. I don't know if I believe in past life theories and that kind of thing. I don't know if I believe that. In karmic debts from previous lifetimes and stuff like that. So that means there's a shortage on creativity. Well, should I even say that? Yes, because it's my opinion. If it's just my opinion, and that's all it is, and it's very valid, okay, because it's mine, and I get to have it. Um, Past lives. So that means then the same thing is just coming again and again and again and again and again, and there's no newness in that regard in terms of human beings. And do animals have past lives? Is it only human beings with past lives? So I personally was something. I think there's a whole that whole way of looking at things is just a misunderstanding of. I can't. I don't. I just don't believe it. I can't break it down very succinctly. Um, Maybe I don't know what's meant by past lives. it's, it's one of those kind of things, I just have a problem with it for real. I'm not somebody else from past. I am the progeny of my people going forward, generation after generation, and I might have some of the personality traits of somebody in my past. I look like my mother. My mother looked like her mother. Okay. My Aunt Mabel looks more like her mother. Okay. My mother probably looks more like her father. Okay. My son, at a certain point, he looked just like my mother. And then his looks changed. He started looking more like his father as he started growing. That kind of thing. Is that considered as past life because somebody looks like their parents and their great parents and their great great parents and stuff like that? Uh, One of these days, I'm gonna sit down and really ponder it. Okay, let's see where I done lost where I where was I certainly don't want to read all this stuff. Okay, let's see where am I. Yeah, okay. Neptune in the 11th house, idealistic and humanitarian, strong hunches, which are accurate. There is difficulty in deciding upon definite goals, apt to dream about achieving a goal rather than applying themselves to obtaining it. Attract Neptunian type of friends who can be inspirational, spiritual, loyal, or deceitful and unreliable. This placement calls for these individuals to pursue definite goals, trusting in the higher vibrational quality of Neptune to guide them intuitively to the fulfillment of their dreams. Neptune in the 12th house, okay, it's home. Reflective and intuitive, have psychic ability which operates unconsciously, filtering through to the conscious mind, which the individual may or may not be aware of as a psychic thought. Because of Neptune's placement in its own house, these individuals have intense feelings of loneliness and of being in bondage to specific person or persons. This can be alleviated only through the attainment of spiritual wisdom, which will show that these individuals are secret enemies who have returned to, wait a minute, which will show that these individuals are secret enemies who have returned to them in order to obtain justice. Forgiveness, love, and understanding is the key here. These people are capable of extreme compassion and service to others if they do not become bogged down in the material world, resentment, or in any self pity. Many doctors and nurses have Neptune in this house, showing their desire to dissolve their karmic debt through serving those who suffer. All right. And that part about karmic debt, too, I have a problem with that, too. I might need to do more studying. I don't know. But I don't know if I believe that 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 line of reasoning inside of astrology. 12th house rulership outline. Okay, my people, we now here. Soul growth through frustrations, atonements, service, and ultimate understanding. Maybe I'm too much of a goody two shoes. There's got to be the wheel, there's got to be polarity. Okay, if there's happy feelings, then there's got to be sad feelings. Okay, I'm not a goody two shoes, but I'm just saying some of the stuff that I be reading about, I don't resonate with it. I could be wrong. Number one, self-undoing frustrations and limitations. A, memories of past lives filtering through from the subconscious mind. B, our secrets we keep hidden from others. C, the meeting of past lifetimes enemies. D, our silent suffering and sorrows, mental pain. Number two, karma, law of an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. A, atonement required for past misdeeds from our present or past lifetimes. B, rewards given for past good deeds from our present or past lifetimes. For some reason, the song by Stevie Wonder is coming to my mind. Been spending most of your life living in a pastime paradise. It's just the word past lifetimes coming up. All right, number three, service. A, given. Service given freely by you to others to atone for your past misdeeds or out of love for them. B, received. Service given freely to you by others to atone for their past misdeeds to you or out of love for you. Okay, number four, confinement, loss of identity through dressing alike, behaving alike, and being treated alike. Okay, confinement, all right. A, institutions, mental or prison. B, hospitals. C, nunneries, monasteries, ashrams, etc. And they dress alike. And that's being under the heading confinement. Confinement. Number four, confinement, loss of identity through dressing alike, behaving alike, and being treated alike. A, institutions, mental or prison. B, hospitals. Yeah, everybody's got to wear that open little dressing gown, open in the back. And C, nunneries, monasteries, ashrams. Okay. Number five, ultimate understanding. A, oneness with humanity, and B, the flowering of your God consciousness. Those who retreat into monasteries, nunneries, or ashrams may find enlightenment and transcendence, but they must be able to retain it in daily living in society. That's heavy. That's heavy. All right. Sixth house rulership outline, okay? Because we're talking about the 12th house. One of the things this author does is compare it to the sixth house because that's the polar opposite, right? So there's something there, all right? Compare with the 12th house rulership outline above. Personal growth through health, work, and service. 1, health. Physical or mental problems indicate an inability to establish emotional security, so the soul seeks a respite or to escape. A, good health indicates, number one, proper care of the physical body. Number 2, ability to meet crises and challenges. And B, ill health indicates 1, abuse of the body through excess such as alcohol, drugs, tension, etc. And 2, inability to cope with crises and challenges. Number 3, attempt by the soul to change an attitude or to repay karma. Number 4, normal body disintegration due to old age. Number 2, work, your working conditions and how you react to these conditions. A, contributing to productivity and growth of the community through number 1, employment. Number 2, service, working in the community without thought of reward or remuneration. And B, adjusting to demands made by number 1, employers. Number 2, fellow workers. Number 3, society. All right, and service, our reaction to others. A, our capacity and willingness to serve others without reward or remuneration. And B, our treatment of those who serve us as servants, such as clerks, waitresses, repairmen, bus drivers, etc., and employees, people we employ to work for us. Whew. The 12th house. All right, I'm almost done. Let me read through this, okay? Not to say that I'm tired, but I'm tired. It's 8 p.m. right now. And I've been at it for a whole hour and 31 minutes. The 12th house. We gonna make it, people. We gonna make it. This is a cadent house, indicating adaptability. It is considered a cadent house because it corresponds to mutable signs. Okay. The natural ruler of this house is Pisces. What is the relationship between the sign and the house? Pisces is the need to gain inner strength, unselfish love, and faith in the unknown. The 12th house refers to soul growth through suffering, forgiveness, and faith in the unknown. The natural ruling planet is Neptune. What is the relationship between the planet and the house? Neptune is the unconscious urge to dissolve past lifetime patterns for a new and better pattern, and the 12th house is the need to atone for our past lifetime patterns so that a new and better life pattern may be formed. If the sun were in this house, it would be approximately 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. This is a house of endings, which correspond to water signs. This means it is a house of inner emotional levels pertaining to the subconscious and the completion of karmic relationships. This house rules number 1, self undoing, frustration, and limitations. Number 2, karma. Number 3, service, given and received. Number 4, confinement. And number 5, ultimate understanding. This house is found in the 4th quadrant above the horizon. The opposite house is the 6th. What is the relationship between the 6th and the 12th house? Both refer to self adjustment, health, and service to others. How do the 6th house and the 12th house differ? The 6th house refers to personal growth through personal adjustments, physical health, work, and service given to others without thought of reward or remuneration. The 12th house refers to soul growth through atonement for past karma, mental health, and service to others out of love or atonement. All of our past lives show up in the 12th house for atonement or reward. All of our misdeeds and good deeds are revealed there. This is why it is called the house of self undoing. Frustrations, confinement, secret enemies, karma, and ultimate understanding. We have all taken from society in a variety of ways, and everything we have taken must be repaid. This is universal law and is irreversible. Some souls may be working on a heavy karmic repayment in this lifetime, while others may find they are only working on one particular phase of karma. In the 12th house, the individual meets the accumulated results of his past life. This house is where man is confronted with his successes and failures from both his present life and his past lifetimes. These memories flow back and forth from the conscious mind to the unconscious mind. They can be memories which aid in obtaining ultimate understanding. They can be, okay, blah, blah, blah. Or they can be memories of fears, frustrations, denials, and sins which continually disturb our tranquility. Each individual has to face these memories because he has created them. Eventually, the misdeeds must be atoned for if there is to be any soul growth in this lifetime. There is no escape from this confrontation. Many people in their new body feel they can escape their misdeeds from the past. They struggle desperately through their daily life, only to be assailed at night with memories that filter through their dreams. Yet, this misery could be alleviated if man realized that he can redeem himself through love and forgiveness. What one must always keep in mind is that you may be the injured party in this lifetime, but you have only attracted what has needed to atone for errors in previous lifetimes. In the Bible, Jesus constantly mentioned the need to forgive your fellow man. We read in Matthew chapter 18, verse 21 through 22. Then Peter came to Jesus and asked, Lord, how many times can my brother sin against me and I have to forgive him? 7 times? No, not 7 times, answered Jesus, but 70 times 7. Jesus further explained his answer by telling the parable of the unforgiving servant and warned Peter at the end of the parable in verse 35. That is how God in heaven will treat you if you do not forgive your brother, every one of you, from your heart. And so, each time you refuse to forgive your fellow man, a karmic debt is incurred between you. It is like an invisible cord that binds you together for eternity until one of you seeks to sever this karmic bondage of all the negative experiences you share together. There is no need to find out what all these negative experiences have been. Forgive the other person and yourself from your heart. This severs the cord between you and you are released. This, what I'm reading, in my opinion, is dogma, okay? But I'm going to read it because that's what was written. This is such a simple thing, but it isn't as easy to do as it sounds because our suffering can bring forth the desire for revenge. Then, too, not only must we face individual karma, but we are also faced with group, race, and nation karma. If we enjoy and actively participated in pleasure seeking or destructive groups, we must face the fate of that group in another lifetime. This entire group would have to incarnate together and suffer poverty, persecution, or destruction. It is easy to see the 12th house forces us to face the law of cause and effect. Of course, there is always the possibility we could go to sleep spiritually this lifetime and allow life to roll by, but our soul is calling for us to balance our ledgers so that we might share the rewards of the golden age of Aquarius. We have already had many lifetimes of spiritually sleeping, so it is time to wake up and begin to work. The right road to ultimate understanding is not an easy road, as it involves a lot of hard work and study. But any effort made is another step toward leaving the wheel of physical incarnation forever. When we studied the sixth house, we saw the crises we have had to face and still might in this lifetime in order to develop personal growth. In the 12th house, the crises are very critical developing soul because they are developing soul growth. Pain is experienced in both houses: physical pain in the sixth house and mental pain in the 12th house. Mental pain is harder to bear because the anguish of the mind can eventually cause physical pain to manifest in the body as well. However, we have no choice but to face our misdeeds from previous lifetimes. Try to accept each painful experience as yet another step along the pathway back to God. Before a soul decides to be reborn, it must decide what type of karma it wishes to repay in this new life. Then parents are selected who will help with this karma. Since physical incarnations are difficult, souls incarnate near or with some of their loved ones from previous lifetimes. These loved ones are lifelines who will encourage and help this soul. When a woman is around 6 months pregnant or even later, the soul will enter the fetus. Thus, when the right astrological time is near, God, I am so disappointed. I'm sorry. God, this sounds crazy to me. All right, I'm going to keep reading it. Thus, when the right astrological time is near, the soul activates the fetus to begin labor so that it can be born at the exact moment in time for karmic obligations to be set in motion. Sometimes a soul is not sure as to whether the unborn fetus is the correct vehicle, so it will not enter the body until after birth. This still does not affect the astrological influences upon the body. Within 3 months of birth, the soul knows whether or not the parents and the environment will be conducive to repaying the karmic debts decided upon. If it is not, the soul will leave the body. Without a soul, the body dies and the death is classified as a sudden crib death syndrome. A soul cannot afford to waste a life, so it appears that the environment will be either too easy or too difficult, it leaves. When we are in the spirit realm, atoning karmic debts seem to be reasonably easy. But once we are in a physical body, we are once again assailed with pain, cold, heat, grief, fear, and physical limitations. As tiny babies, we are immediately frustrated by our inability to communicate or to move around. And so, what seems easy in the spiritual realm is no longer easy. No wonder then that this new life may find itself stifled by too great a karmic load, so that it tends to forget what it set out to do. Then the life becomes nothing more than a repeat of a former life, but with a different setting and situations. However, if this new life does meet the confrontations of the 12th house successfully, this individual is on the road to ultimate understanding, oneness with humanity, and reunion with God. Thus, enlightenment and transcendence of our personal ego will free us from our cycle of physical rebirths and from our wheel of karma. With the discovery of Pluto, the knowledge of reincarnation has merged from underground. Eastern philosophies have always believed in reincarnation. It was only the Western world which didn't wish to accept the concept of more than one life. The trailblazer for the Western world was Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet who died on January 3rd, 1945. His revelations showed that men need not fear death, for we were granted many lives in order to work our way back to God. Death is nothing more than the closing of another chapter in our evolvement. But finishing a chapter in our book of soul evolvement can be a difficult task. A successful and happy ending is always desirable to each chapter. We destroy much of our good works by fearing death and treating it as a tragedy. So take control of your life and fulfill your repayment plan from your past lives and bring this new chapter to a successful and happy conclusion. Each of us has obviously left something undone from previous lifetimes, or we would not be here today. The memories of what we didn't do or say haunts our subconscious. We must have the courage to realize that we cannot accomplish all that we would like to do. Let the chapter of this life reflect what you have accomplished and not what you wished you had. There will be another opportunity in a new life to write yet another chapter in your book. There is no time limit, and yet, in a sense, there is, because if you truly seek to end your personal sufferings and sorrows, you must place your feet firmly on the pathway to illumination and enlightenment, or it will never end. So, in the 12th house is found many karmic obligations, old enemies, and ultimate understanding. We have to make a decision as to whether or not we want to lay to rest these subconscious fears and guilts, or will we allow them to overwhelm us so that nothing is solved and we are once again spiritually asleep? To awaken and meet the unknown, we must have courage, faith, compassion, and love. I sought my soul, but my soul I could not see. I sought my God, but my God eluded me. I sought my brother, and I found all three. Anonymous. All right, my people. So that is the end of that part of the book. But I'm only halfway through this book. There's a whole lot more in this book, and I might consider reading it because she's breaking some things down. I don't quite agree with her spiritual breakdown, like what I just read, but her astrological, did I say astrological? Astrological understanding and breakdown is deep. Like in this next chapter, chapter 6, she's talking about, well, let me just read it. Moon phases, part of fortune, and she's got drawings of it and everything. These are the moon phases. Okay, you see that. And what it all breaks down and what it means. And the names of those moons, the phases. Balsamic gibbous, a disseminating moon, full moon, balsamic last quarter moon, and all the rest. So definitely I want to look at this. I don't know if I'm going to read about it. And the nodes, she's talking about the moon's nodes. I'm just going to study this on my own. I don't know if I want to read it. But that was hard reading through what I consider as dogma. The whole, so life is because you fucked up previously. That's the whole purpose of life. And you got to come and correct the fuck ups you did. So what's a fuck up? What's a fuck up today is not a fuck up tomorrow. What's considered fucked up? Excuse the language, my people. Anyway, my God. Okay, 1 hour, 49 minutes. Peace and love to each and every one of you all.